the young gun.
Definitely his first time.
I think TI5 he didn't quite get through the qualifier, and this is him on the main stage. And actually, we're going to have to cut this discussion short because it sounds like they're ready to go. We can go ahead and kick this game off. It's time to see what Virtus.Pro can do versus LGD. Alright, get your thinking caps on. It is time for the draft. The best of three between Virtus.Pro and LGD-Gaming. VP not only representing for themselves, but also battling to try and see what they can do versus the titans of LGD.
You can see that both teams here did their homework. Virtus.Pro is banning the MAG, which 11 has been playing a lot of games, and LGD bans the Darkseer that Pash has been playing.
10 seconds.
Kind of interesting how Virtus.Pro actually used to favor the Magnus a lot back in Kiev Major, and passed a lot, and now they're banning it themselves.
It's worked really well with their team, especially because Ramses is such a draw to these like melee heroes who benefit from cleave. You see him like his best heroes like Ursa, and Ursa with Empower can actually keep up and farm and be effective in the lane.
In regards to just taking that seer away from VP, is that just, would you describe that as Virtus.Pro comfort territory? That's just where they fall back to if things aren't going to plan?
I've seen a lot of Darkseer and Sven from them throughout this tournament. One of the few teams to make Darkseer really work well.
And they actually picked it the first two as well, so they're not afraid to just like show what they are going to do, and they can actually make it work as well.
Yeah, they're confident in it. They're not afraid of any counters coming out, or they feel like they can ban effectively around it.
VP is one of the teams that actually, they're not afraid to show their lineup over draft in the like first two, and they're like one of the teams that seems like they want to have a good lineup themselves more than countering the opponent.
Yeah, you've seen Solo first pick himself a lot of Witch Doctor and Ogre, which aren't really counter picks to any specific heroes. Generally, just they offer your team things.
I mean, Rasmus, is there a balance to be struck with that? You know, drafting for yourself as opposed to deliberately trying to get.
I think specifically Virtus.Pro is probably one of the most confident teams they find. I'm very surprised how confident they always seem to be when they're playing majors and tournaments in general. They always just pick Magnus Troll first two. They don't really care what you're gonna do. It's more like try and beat us. You know what we're gonna do. Try and beat it now. So yeah, it's definitely something that they don't mind that much.
For those watching, Virtus.Pro recently at the Summit picked unique heroes throughout the entire tournament, every single game up until Game 5 of the finals, which then they just picked their favorite heroes and won the tournament. It was I was there casting.
What were the favorite heroes there?
It was like,
do you remember?
Ursa, Magnus.
Okay.
Like, yeah. So just that was the only game that they repeated heroes. They brought out all these old strategies, Shadow Demon Luna, Magnus and Power plus melee heroes.
And still made them run.
And
We are seeing Crystal Maiden come to play.
That hero's bad.
It really upsets me because all it does is remind me of Slacks now.
She's just really slow. I think she's down to 270 MS.
She has gotten nerfed to the point where it feels almost unplayable. However, I feel if she comes online, she can still make the lineup very fast. Like she does get the aura to all your heroes, and the thing is, she jungles fairly quickly still if you get the right camps, and
it's okay.
And actually, like this lineup against Lich and Kunkka supports, it can actually work because like none of them are heroes that is gonna go into your jungle and just kill you. Like Lich is gonna stand on the lane, and Kunkka is gonna try to gank some like mid or safe lane.
So whatever lane VP decides to put up against the Lich is really going to struggle. I don't think Crystal Maiden is going to be able to help out at all there. I think her best efforts are going to be in the jungle, getting a quick level 3, probably 2 points in aura, and letting Night Stalker run around and grab as many bounty runes and have mana for constant voids.
Keep your eyes on that. Now, the Lich hasn't been discussed as much. In fact, we haven't actually got to hear your opinion on this because the International 7 has been plagued by Lich. It's been kind of the hero of the draft, at least in the group stages. What's your take on it? Something you've been playing around with as well?
Yeah, I actually felt like I was one of the only people that appreciated Lich when he was where he was never picked
back in the day.
Yeah, like a few months ago even. The hero has definitely become stronger as the game has developed a bit throughout this tournament. It feels like the 5 position doesn't really have that much of a place as much as it used to.
Sure.
The pull is pretty weak. It's hard to zone the off lane. There's usually a lot of pressure on the safe lane though. I feel like it's this hero has a lot of potential now. He can go to any lane, like Aka mentioned the other day, and you know, he gets his own experience, he gets his own sustain, he can armor towers. I mean,
he always has an impact.
Yeah.
And a lot of other 5 heroes just don't have that, especially in the laning phase.
Right. So getting that additional impact, and whilst you do say that, it does seem like it's quite polarizing when you have a Lich played correctly and incorrectly. Could you shed a little insight, Peter, as to what like Lich's kind of checklist is going to be? I mean, you yourself have said that
5
stats don't tell you everything. Bad teams can pick the same hero. Lich, I mean, we've seen Cloud9, they tried to draft it. They were one of the few to chase the Chinese with it and could not make it work. What does a bad Lich look like?
LGD's turn to pick.
Stands ready.
Bad Lich or a good Lich?
Is that a tough question?
It's definitely a tough question.
Using the abilities in like the right way.
might be more based off the team and how they built around
The
the Lich.
opponents, I would say, because the ice armor is what's going to make him good in the late game. So if they're up against a lot of physical damage, now they actually pick Sven against it. So now Lich is actually quite good for them.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of bad Lich games where the
5
Lich
seconds
moves around a
remaining.
lot and he chooses the wrong lane to be in. It's, you know, you want to set him up against somebody to slow them down. You know, if you're worried about
He's also an enabler in a sense, right? What do you put with the Lich? There are certain heroes that can be very effective. You put a Centaur with a Lich and give him armor, you know, he's pretty much untouchable there.
you can pick a weaker laner. We've seen
You can.
Morphlings
Exactly.
paired up with that Lich.
Doom has been picked with Lich as well a lot. It's also why VP is banning it as well in the second phase there.
Virtus.Pro
VP Sven.
turn to pick.
Beastmaster.
Talked about that beforehand, and Beastmasters.
That could work as well, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, if he gets a couple of levels to level up the boars, then he can be very annoying.
That is very strong for sure. This is a hero that nobody really plays except for LGD, right?
Not often picked into Night Stalker, but if you
10
build a
seconds
Vlad's
remaining.
first and you become this like 5-man pushing hero, you can almost counter
5
what
seconds
Night Stalker
remaining.
does for your team.
I actually remember how, like, OG back in the day doing, like, in Frankfurt Major and stuff like that, they actually felt that Beastmaster was kind of the counter to Night Stalker because he did give you some kind of vision, right? And you had the boars to push out the lane, you got your book, you can, like, rat a bit. Night Stalker doesn't like that with summons.
There's a
stuff like that.
Sven and a CM though to help deal with that Necro book.
Yeah, that's true.
And you can force towers with him as well with his passive aura. It makes the tower pushes.
It's not a...
LGD's
It's a pretty vague
turn.
matchup, I think.
So you guys are a fan of the pick?
I think it could work, but it's not something that I would pick for my team.
See what they have planned here, because I think the hero is very versatile overall, and
Ooh.
I think it's underappreciated at the moment.
That's looking like a Pasha Omni Knight in the off lane.
Yeah. Could be an
10
aggro
seconds
Trident, perhaps, to counter out the Lich idea, maybe, and then they put the Omni
5
against the
seconds
Beastmaster,
remaining.
something like that.
Yeah, that'd be a tough lane for him, but Omni Knight, you know, with a little bit of sustain from the heal, could potentially manage the harassment from Lich's Frost Nova.
Virtus.Pro's
In the
turn
laning
to
phase.
pick.
I think they probably don't mind that much putting Omni Knight against just Beastmaster. He's gonna be fine there.
He's gonna farm at least. So.
But now there's a Troll, which is pretty decent in lane overall, so the aggro Trident might not be the best idea.
10
They are
seconds
gearing
remaining.
up to group up and push against this Night Stalker, I think. I think that's something that
5 seconds
Virtus.Pro is lacking a
remaining.
bit, is the team fight. Crystal Maiden offers a little bit, Night Stalker next to none. Sven,
LGD's turn
he has
to
a hard
bat.
time getting into fights until he gets a Blink Dagger and a BKB. But even when he does get that BKB, he's still going to be dealing with that
turn to
roar
pick.
from Beastmaster.
And surely that's something Virtus.Pro would have been aware of. By drafting it first, they knew that that would give the freedom to LGD to build towards that. They knew that that was coming.
They knew that Omni Knight was coming?
Well, no, they knew that the LGD would try and build to counter that Night Stalker.
True.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, so Virtus.Pro trying to get some more team fights so they can actually defend their towers.
5 seconds remaining.
With an Omni Knight,
You got Casey and Slack.
They need some kind of powerful mid hero here, right? They need,
nice.
yeah.
Casey and Slacks on Virtus.Pro here.
Yeah, they're representing. I think Casey pulled off the facial hair better, right?
Slacks is looking a little slim.
He lost all the weight, didn't he?
He's looking good.
It's looking fine. Who could cosplay as Sven? That's the real question. Talent team. I think Peter, you could rock a Sven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's more like a fly, kind of.
Yeah, that's more
Oh yeah, you're right. Let's get
Fly
Fly.
kind of thing.
a little skinny, I think.
We'll get you down the gym. Give Blitz 6 months. He'll be there as well.
Night Stalker's ripped.
True.
Him and his blue buddy Sven. Jim
There is
Bros.
a recurring blue theme, and we have, as with all the drafts that are manned by me, gone on to a topic of aesthetics. Good job, Alex. Solid work.
Yeah,
Waiting
really.
for LGD's draft.
You're definitely derailing the panel.
That's my job, yeah. That's what they were like. Day9's keeping it on topic too much. Jump in and talk some nonsense.
You want to talk StarCraft?
Turn to switch.
Sure, man.
Medusa ban from Virtus.Pro, I like that. Medusa's one of the hard counters to Sven, because you can cast Stone Gaze even during his BKB when he's looking to connect the majority of his damage. He's got to turn and run away instead of fight.
10
Necrophos, the
seconds
last
remaining.
pick.
It fits well with the other heroes, as we said before, that they really want to push and push the
5
tower, so
seconds
now they
remaining.
actually have some sustain and heal.
What do you think VP is looking at?
Yeah, this is the big question.
The DP would be good for them, I think, but it's banned out. Queen of Pain is banned as well.
Puck?
I think Puck is a little bit on the weak side for their lineup.
You want more firepower?
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely want something stronger. I see.
Is the fact
Invoker is not banned. No, Invoker could be. They have some
no one here,
setups. Yeah. I could see maybe Storm Spirit being good, but it might be a little bit
OD?
Storm.
They have like
alright.
Beast ulti, and they have
Storm?
Kunkka X as well. I don't know.
I think Storm looks good, but the problem is if it becomes a bit too slow. But they do have Repel. They have like Omni-Knight Heal. They have CM Aura.
CM Aura. I
They
think
have
it's
Nighttime Storm. Very good.
You may now
Lena.
select
All
your
right.
hero.
I mean, that's a classic with
She hasn't
CM
been
too,
picked
right?
so much lately
Yeah.
compared to before. She was very popular during the qualifiers.
I mean, you said they needed firepower, and they get quite literal firepower from Lena. Omni-Knight, Sven, Crystal Maiden, and Night Stalker. Now, the question is, and it has to be asked, Ake, throwing this one towards you in terms of, is there a draft that you significantly like more than the other?
I think LGD has a more clear plan of what they want to do, and Virtus.Pro kind of ended up in a way there where like they had to try to counter LGD's lineup instead.
They're going to be reacting a lot in this game. And those team fights are going to be out on top.
Yeah.
Perfect. It's been an absolute pleasure, guys. We're going to go ahead and continue to top up our tan as we go ahead and jump into another fantastic game here at TI7. Your casters are waiting in the wings.
10 seconds remaining.
Greetings and salutations, Dota fans. Welcome to what promises to be a real barn burner of a showdown. Lumi, we've got LGD taking on VP. VP, the last Western hope remaining in the upper bracket. They've got a very fearsome opponent here.
Do you have to pay copyright to use that line?
No, that's just my homage to AC. I miss him, man. I miss his hype. You know, it's the best I can do.
Well, I got to tell you, I think out of all of teams coming out from China, I personally think that LGD is the strongest one.
Really?
Yes, you know,
Wow.
6-8 months ago when I was casting LGD on these online games, they were just kind of muscling people down just off the raw skill of Ame and maybe, or Somnus as he's tagged up in this game. But in the last 2 to 3 months, I felt like they have a complete package. Yao has been literally out-drafting their opponent pretty much every single time that I've casted their game. So they have made the final evolution. You got this raw skills, you got the draft, and now they are ready to take down TI, I think.
Yeah, looking at this LGD team, you know, like the old storyline for Yao, you go back to TI3, LGD got bounced by Liquid. That was a huge upset at the time. And then Xiao8 left. Xiao8 moved on to Newbie. He won a TI without any of his old teammates, and so the question became, like, were they holding him back? Did Xiao8 just need to get away from, not just Yao, but everyone else on that team, Sylar, who was with him at the time. Now it seems like maybe we've come full circle, and Yao has finally fully stepped in that role as a captain, as a drafter, as a leader, and has taken LGD very far. But that said, they've got a fearsome opponent here, and VP want to get this party started. And guess who they find? The Jinx is in, and Yao down for the count.
Giving up first blood to no one, that is not a good sign here for your mid player. Every time you see your support give up first blood, you're the mid, you're like, dang it, why'd you gotta be there? But that will give Somnus, or I guess for the remainder of cast, I would refer him as maybe he's better known for that tag. Or do you think we should?
No, we can call him.
Maybe. All right. Thank you for giving me the permission, Ali. I appreciate that.
I asked his agent. He said it was okay.
Cool. Yeah, that does secure him the rune, but still, big heavy win here for Virtus.Pro.
Yeah, early first blood for them, and now I think while we wait for these lanes to unfold, we look at VP's lineup. So much of this game is going to be dictated by Lil on the Night Stalker and enabled by Solo on the Crystal Maiden. I know the panel mentioned, PPD said it's not a good hero right now. Do you think it can be a good hero this game, or is it going to be a liability, all game long against what LGD bring to bear?
Are you talking about the Omni?
The Crystal Maiden.
Crystal Maiden. I think she will be fine. She's going to be mostly slaying the lane. One of her strongest or weakest point is that she's so slow, and this patch is really about contesting the bounty runes. but she's gonna let the Night Stalker to do most of the bounty picking.
So she's here, you think, mainly for the aura to
Yes.
give a little bit of extra experience?
Her allies, all 4 of them, takes advantage of the allies extremely well, especially with Lina on the mid lane spamming away, as well as Omni Knight. Definitely needs a mana to keep himself gassed up on the top lane.
Often when we see the Omni, it is with some super carry that really takes advantage of the repel. Like, in theory, they do have that with maybe the Sven, maybe the Lina. However, there is some lockdown to go through that, whether it's the Night Stalker ultimate, the Necrophos, Reaper Sight stun, or potentially, just looking at some troll bashes. So
Bottom lane?
It's not automatic that will be a good lockdown, but 11 does get caught out here in the bottom lane. Good pick to start things off for VP. They get 2-0 early. They're also pulling during this time. So this bottom lane seems clearly won, at least for now. Yao staying there for the moment. Curious to see if he makes a rotation as he's being bullied a bit in the river. The board's going to lend him a bit of an assist as Lil makes his journey towards the middle lane, running away from that board now, wrapping back in. So they're leaving the Lich bottom. And I want to ask you, do you like the Lich staying here? Do you think he could be more effective or useful elsewhere?
Well, not if he's giving up kills like that, right? I think the idea here is what exactly IG did yesterday. Remember they ran the Sanking Lich in the off lane? They want to control this lane and just solely win, but instead they're just giving kills after kills after kills. Crystal Maiden.
No more mana here on VP, so they won't be able to get the follow-up, but it's now 2 deaths in the lane. It's a 3rd kill on this bottom half of the map, and you really have to wonder, are they going to make an adjustment? Yao TP's in again. He's going to deny that range creep, so content to at least try and slow the sun down, but
I think LGD is just getting a little bit too ahead of themselves. Lich as a laner gets really, really strong at level 2 and 3. Not as strong at level 1. And it felt like they give away a little bit too much when they don't have any ability to fight. You take Sacrificer 1, you're a glorified range creep, just stay back. And unfortunately, they got punished pretty hard.
that does mean 11 is on his own though, and they're moving in again, looking to punish the Lich.
Yeah, and this is where Lich
Indirectly.
gets stronger in the lane, right? You put the Frost armor on 011, and he's got 7 armor, with the, of course, the attack slow applied to them when you do attack him. So he should be absolutely fine. And so this lane is not winning for LGD, but eventually it will win.
So how about the other lanes? In the mid lane, no one. Duke it out with Maybe here. For a while, Maybe widely considered to be by far the best mid in China. Nowadays, I think some would say SCCC can challenge him for that crown, but certainly one of the premier mids. And doing well early on against no one. Slight edge in CS. He's getting a little help from Victoria. They are moving in while simultaneously in the bottom lane, the Frost Armor saving the day. Can they get this no one kill? The Lina's low, about to fall. Crucial that LGD gets this. Not dead yet.
Oh.
And no one makes it out.
Wow. I think maybe used his Ghost Shroud a little bit too early. I think he could have gotten an extra attack or two, not taking into account of the the Fairy Fire that the Lina activated. So slight mistake there by Maybe, but still having the lane advantage. Great game from Makunga, giving their mid a little bit of advantage there.
The last lane that we haven't really looked at is Pasha on this off-lane Omni Knight, who for now is getting his experience. Already level 4. They haven't been able to force him out of the lane, although they are going to try with the turret now. He's relatively low, has the level 2 heal, still the pursuit. They're going to be looking for some timely bashes. He gets pulled back by an X, but the creep wave comes in, and Pasha will be absolutely fine. So the early laning stage definitely belongs to VP, and now Wolf Howl's nighttime kicks in, and Lil starts to get aggressive. All those kills, Lumi, they're coming in daytime, but now VP can ramp up the aggression.
One of the downside of this defensive tri-lane for Virtus.Pro is that they're not getting that much level. You have 3 kills on the lane, and your Night Stalker is still level 2. And that's just kind of a byproduct of Crystal Maiden nowadays. She used to be a very efficient jungler. And Lich, yeah. Of course, more so than Lich to CM. But now, looks like the Night Stalker will be roaming to the mid lane to perhaps set up a kill. And Maybe is relatively low.
Yeah, it does go Shroud up, has a few stick charges available as well, so VP aren't going to be able to commit for that kill. You in fact see 4 LGD heroes in the vicinity, just ready for a potential dive while also trying to farm the woods. And one thing about this Night Stalker pick is the presence of the Beastmaster. I think very important to talk about. It might not be the easiest Night Stalker game. There's always vision if the Beastmaster position's right. So VP can't just count and bank on being able to dive towers with impunity. There could well be a punish and anticipation from the LGD side.
I do want to point out this ward that Virtus.Pro lay out in the very beginning of the game, overseeing the Ancients. That's something that Lich offlanes would like to do, especially with the Beastmaster in the game. And of course, when you have a Sven, if you do know that there is going to be a stack, you can't easily steal it after a good fight. So I think that's definitely something that Virtus.Pro will be looking towards to do.
11 feeding his Hawk into the waiting arms of Solo, who is now just dual laning as the Night Stalker continues his journey around the world, heading towards the top lane. Didn't really see an opening there. In fact, the Lich also making the rotation. I think he was hiding in the fog, just waiting for that potential Night Stalker dive, and they're going to go again on the bottom lane. 11 could be in trouble here with the Frostbite coming out. He doesn't have the plus armor, the attack speed slow not there, and down he will go. Brutal start indeed. VP up 4 kills. Great start for them. They're not really that far ahead, all things considered, Lumi. LGD still farming well and otherwise keeping the game relatively close. But I guess the question is, how do LGD get back in this game? What is their strategy moving forward?
LGD needs a lot of levels on their heroes before they can do a lot. I mean, maybe he is level 6, so he could start rotating around and set up some kills, but not before he gets ganked here. And rotation.
Not where he wants to be. Laguna comes out, stick up pop, but it was after the close drop. He could be in danger. Then the Torn comes through. The ult from the Necro, they get the kill. CM down. At least a small trade, but the Lil looking for more. Wants some revenge. It's a double for no one. It could be a triple. Lil wanting to chase, but no one. Doesn't want to commit with those quick respawns coming through. Much bigger victory here. VP grabbing cores, only giving up supports, continuing to extend their lead. 6-1 now.
Remember when the question was proposed at the panel, what is a bad Lich game? You're watching it right now. Lich is supposed to give you the lane advantage. You're not supposed to fall 6-1 behind. You're not supposed to be losing out on so much gold. He was picked for this off lane, they did win off the lane. And now he's kind of rotating around, and that's not the reason why you pick Lich. Moving forward in the mid game, he's really going to be lost in terms of what he can do. Smoke gang going up top.
Yeah, you pick the Lich, you'd love to have passive lanes, but Ame getting trapped out. The Troll eats the heal bomb, mauled down. Virtus.Pro continue to gain steam here, revving up the plow. They are in full control now, but soon this nighttime will end. And we'll see if LGD can start to get some momentum back their way. Ramsey's left alone bottom. There is soon going to be a Primal Roar available. LGD might be able to make a move, actually baiting this one. 11 doesn't have his level 6 yet, though. He's just going to give up a free kill. Or maybe not. Victoria, big save from him. The Torn comes through, and now the slow. Just looking to retreat, though, as Lil's on the chase. Doesn't have the mana. He gets baited in. Now from the side comes maybe with the flank. The ult's cooling down 1 second. He won't get the bonus death time on the Night Stalker, but they do salvage the fight, and now Beastmaster level 6. LGD, even bringing the Troll in for that engagement, they might be looking to push off.
They're going to steal this big stack. Ame, I believe that was a 3 to 4 big stack here, and they just cleaned it up. That was supposed to be a Sven, so that engagement, not only did Ramses not get the kill that he intended to go for, it also lost pretty big economically to LGD. I think that was a pretty good comeback here.
And look at the transition from LGD. They get the kill, and they're just going to group up the Beastmaster and the Troll together and force the fight. Oh, they're diving onto Solo, but reinforcements are arriving. Pasha wants to take this. He's got the heal. That's going to bring the Troll low. Now Ame needs to back away. Where's the follow-up? Still that Primal Roar available, but nobody on VP low enough to continue this aggression. So a good job by Pasha of blunting the onslaught, and now VP going to settle down a little bit. LGD forced to back away. This is the time where their lineup starts to ramp up in the push department, Lumi, but don't have a point in that Troll ult just yet. No battle trance, so perhaps not quite ready to go for it.
No, I think they definitely need a little bit more levels before they could actually group up for a concentrated push. I'm also worried moving forward in this mid game. I feel like Nine Pasha's Omni-Knight is just going to be way too big. He got too much in that laning stage. Maybe walking into a gank squad, it looks like he's going to be okay.
3 heroes from LGD looking to dive. Still no ultimate on the Lich. We have often seen the Chain Trials come out. 2 heroes stunned by Ramsey's. Good connection to start. Now the heal to follow. Chasing the back. The Lita comes through. Clutches the kill. And now 11 in danger. Continues his retreat, but the onslaught is there. VP storming forward. The Roar has to be committed just to get back safely. And still the stun's going to take him. Solo isn't even needed for this kill. No one scores. Another Virtus.Pro are on fire early.
Meanwhile, Night Stalker successfully TPs out from a gank up top. Yeah, they are winning pretty much every single lane, every single engagement. And LGD is a lineup that I think needs to get a little bit more done in the laning stage. I don't think you could just be like, okay, we're going to scale better in late game. LGD does not have that kind of lineup against Alina and Sven.
It is, you know, to emphasize the point you were making before the action broke out earlier, like, you pick Lich, you'd love to have a very passive laning stage. Just sit back, win through the war of attrition, through constant sacrifices, but they fought a lot early, and those were not favorable engagements. It was before the Lich got his level advantage, before the sacrifices kicked in, and then VP have been able to snowball it since. So I suppose a small silver lining for LGD is that VP has not been able to stack much. Still no ancient stack on either camp as of yet.
LGD smoked next to the shrine, spotted out by a well-placed observer ward by Virtus.Pro.
Feeling the pressure to make something happen with this Necrophos. Did go for that early Veil. Obviously, armor will be essential against the Sven.
Yeah, LGD just gives up the gank. They kind of know that maybe they got spotted.
Even a Radiant scan coming in. It's not actually going to detect Victoria, but this might free up the push bottom anyway. With 11's army of boars stacking up, perhaps LGD will commit. Sneaking in from the side, Victoria gets down a key deep ward. So far, so good for VP, though. They have mostly thwarted these ganks now, letting the darkness fall and closing in on natural nighttime. They look to defend this tier 1. Still no towers claimed. LGD, their lineup was predicated on taking at least one tower by now.
Or at least doing a ton of damage to
Right.
it, which they have on the bottom side. But I think LGD definitely not happy with how their early game going. I think, critically speaking, look at Victoria's level. He's level 5. He's trying to smoke around with his team and set up kills, but without the ghost ship, I don't think they have enough damage to really kind of put people low enough for that Reaper site. Maybe has really even given up ganking with his team. He says, look, I need to get level 12. I'm going to just farm up. And you guys worry about yourself.
Thing is, they're so reliant on the Reaper site to complete kills, and you've got an Omni Knight to worry about with a level 3 repel. So the uptime is quite high, and very likely, while you might get the stun, you're unlikely to be able to dish out the damage needed for the kill.
Yeah, LD, I gave you that little look when they picked Necrophos into the Omni Knight. Generally, Omni Knight's seen as one of the better heroes to pick against the Necros.
Unless you crush the lanes really hard.
Which they didn't. So, you know, LGD is in a lot of trouble. Mid lane looks like the rotation is coming in. Are they going to make that dive? Or maybe?
Maybe trying to tank up now as he works his way back towards Hood. Still Lil eyeing his prey, but rather reinforced hide he'll have to choose for if he wants to get that kill. But while this is all going on, Pasha just getting some precious me time top. He takes the tower down uncontested. At this rate, we might just see like a straight Midas or Radiance coming out from Pasha. He's just getting all the farm in the world.
And there's no stopping him, at least not right now. Like, the only person that could really kill him is a dual gank of the Beastmaster Roar as well as the Reaper Scythe.
Oh yeah.
But
easy GPM talent. Why not with the start he's had?
So what do you think he's going to go for? He's got the Midas queued up. Yeah, he's going for a...
I definitely think you go Midas. When you're already this highly leveled, like, you don't...
So what about the next item, though? Like, okay, Greaves. Good choice.
They do know LGD's 5-man is really strong in the mid-game, right? Once you get the key items, like I imagine Necro's going to try to complete a pipe. Lucy maybe queuing that up now. Beastmaster, we'll see. For now, appears to be a Solar Crest. But they're likely to go for that 5-man push. They're likely to try to take Roche. So you do want at least something item-wise from Yami that lets you take fights. And, I mean, Mech certainly fits the bill there. Actually, looks like he wants to change out for a 4-step.
Okay.
But yeah, just something to help the team. Like, you can go back for something greedier later. But
sure. 4-step seen as one of the best counter to Beastmaster Roar. You know, you spend a long cooldown ultimate for a single target hero. Boom, push him away, and you're fine.
Can LGD finally make a smoke work for them? It's tough to do it at night. They are going to try. One showing himself mid for now. Did opt for the Yule Scepter on the Lina. LGD move in. Arcane Rune here, maybe. Gonna snag it, VP. Immediately looking to back away, and Victoria unable to get the initiation. So again, VP correctly anticipating these LGD movements. That's the third failed smoke for them. They have just had LGD's number all game long.
That was a very curious time to make that smoke. And Hold, I thought Hold Left is gonna get initiated, and it's getting completely blown up. 5 VP heroes on the chase, Little flying forward, giving vision.
Pushing up the daisies now as VP starts to take this tower down. Tier 1 under siege. No frost armor on it even. Looks like that Lich is afraid to even get near the tower for the time being. So, in fact, the one hero who sticks around could be punished now. The Necrophos spun out. Good stun coming through from the Centaur. Lil with the micro skills, and now the Chain Frost committed, but the Omni's there to keep them alive.
Chain Frost?
CP's in. Still the Chain Frost bouncing. Keeps on bouncing. Still no kills. They need more damage. They want Pasha. They will get him. Can they find more on the retreat? Solo, dangerously low. The hero plays from Meow to try and keep his team in this game, but Centaur Stomp is available 2 times in a row. Lil with the huge plays going for that early Helm of the Dominator build on the Night Stalker.
That was a very poor timing to do the LGD smoke gank, in my opinion, because they did it during nighttime. Like, Night Stalker sees you before you see them.
And they did it blind. Like, sometimes we'll see teams smoke at night, but they at least have a ward, or they have some sort of vision advantage to set up for an easy kill.
They had one deep into the jungle, into the Radiant jungle, but I don't think that one saw any hero at that time. But finally, LGD with a slight momentary lead after that fight will take at least a tier 1 tower.
Radiant structures are fortified.
VP probably not in position to trade just yet as Ame cracks open the Mask of Madness. Raw attack speed so far for him. Grab the Yasha as well. It's the least important tower for their strategy though, as they really are a lot about the Roshan, but the Troll, the Beastmaster, heroes that can use the Aegis quite well potentially, like the Necrophos, who offers a lot on second life.
Ramses, by the way, finishing a 4-stack Ancient, being stacked up by that little Centaur. Nice Stalker's front.
Already grabbed the Oblivion Staff, I believe Echo Saber.
Radiant structures are fortified.
But either way, LGD working on this tower now, quickly chewing it down.
Radiant's bottom tower.
VP don't want to contest just yet. They are
Radiant's
waiting for their
bottom
next round of items. They want to
tower
take a fight where LGD aren't already set up at a tower, so they're going to retreat for the time being.
This last minute and a half for LGD has been really good. They desperately need that gold going into some of these key heroes. 11 finishing that Solar Crest allows them to tank quite a bit. I wonder if he's going to go for a Blink BKB or Blink build this game.
No one could be in danger here. The Yule
Roar.
Scepter, though, is available. Quick Yule, but the Chain Frost locked in for distance. Roar comes through.
Even the Reaper.
Gotta love the commitment from Yao there, and they do score the long duration.
Look at his respawn time, 66 seconds.
Yeah, that's big, and that is the thing about this LGD draft is even from a deficit, they're just so strong in the mid game. But here comes Lil again, hunting Victoria. Oh, Victoria down once more. Lil continues to make plays around the map. 3-1-6 on the Night Stalker, and doing it solo now.
So I do want to ask your opinion about the Night Stalker Helmet of the Dominator build. Not something that we see too often, but the Centaur has been pretty effective so far.
Quite instrumental. We'll talk about it in a moment, but for now, LGD getting run over in the mid lane. A rain of fights coming down as Solo continues to dish out the damage. Even through the Ghost Shroud, they'll slay Ame and maybe both cores down for the count. They didn't have the Beastmaster there. Of course, the Kunkka had only just respawned, and they didn't have the boat available. Costly mistake from LGD, underestimating VP's willingness to take the fight.
Yeah, there's no way that Troll Warlord could be in that kind of forward position without having a BKB. Look at how awkward it was as he got kind of pushed into the right side. If he had BKB there, maybe he could sit his ground and fight, but they just got melted.
Yeah, he fused it up now. He's definitely going to need it as this game moves along. But
he needs both BKB and Diffusal Blade to actually counteract against Guardian Angel. That would be a big threat against them as well. So just a ton of items that LGD needs. Unfortunately, they are just too poor.
Yeah, they need a ton of items as the game moves along. And, you know, even if you get that BKB, Lina is a very hard hitter with right clicks, assuming when she goes to the damage talent.
You have Warcry to back you up.
You have to spend right clicks, so.
Radiant's middle tower.
Other thing I think to keep in mind is they have multiple targets that you really want to roar. Like, those are the two big ones. Maybe you could even make an argument for the Omni Knights who can't save his teammates. But LGD, they're not frazzled by this bad turn of events. They're still going to try to go for the roach. They've lost one already. Victoria down. Now Ame's in the pit, but he rushes out, wants to take the fight. Yeah, with the Chain Frost, he won't get it off, though. VP swarming to the point of attack. It's a Zerg rush from them. Locking out Ame, picking him off. Aegis instantly will be burnt and likely dies again. Stormbolt's pulled down, goes for the whirling axes, but surrounded and pounded. VP make it 3 plus an Aegis down. They are fearless here on the big stage.
Yeah, they gave away the Roshan, but you know they just took it right back very quickly, and now invading into the enemy jungle. Do we have a second to talk about that Helm of the Dominator? Because Little has been microing out of his mind, known as one of the best Visage players in the world. I guess this is Visage like, as he's sending in the Centaur, stomping people and extending chain stuns, as well as allowing the Omni Knight to actually have a good healable target in the front line to do that big bomb damage.
It can also soak up, you know, a Chain Frost bounce and potentially just drag it away from your team. So
and Centaur also has stacked 4 Ancient Camps for his Sven. So
yeah, so you can basically do what you want to do at nighttime as a Night Stalker, and that's probably the biggest reason. Stay active, constantly pressure, while also still ensuring your economy is robust. So I think that's the most important aspect of it, and then the bonus is whatever it brings to you in an actual fight.
Sure. The 10 attack speed also actually is quite nice for Night Stalker does get in quite a bit of right click, especially when he's in a 1v1 situation for support in jungle or something like that.
Still prowling about here as LGD to feel quite scared. It's a lineup that's meant to group up, take towers early, grab an Aegis, and use that to force objectives. But Lumi, they've gotten only 2 towers, and for their purposes, the least important 2, these 2 bottom tier 1. It's not stopped VP from farming at all. VP's farming the northern half of the map without fear. LGD, if anything, the lineup that wants to be map controlling and playing from ahead is currently playing from a sizable disadvantage. 17-4, down 9k gold. How do they get back in this game?
Well, Reaper Scythe is a hell of a spell. You know, when the game goes longer, the respawn timer kind of adds more and more in terms of how effective it is. But I think they're getting closer and closer to a point where VP needs to go up the hill, dive a little bit too deep, and make a big mistake. For now, looks like the 2 teams will trade a tower. LGD does get the mid-tier 1, but here comes the backstab.
They want to fight. They're bringing in 5. The tower's low, but in goes Ramsey's head full of steam. Gets up the stun. Ame on the run, and from the rear comes Solo with the zoning. Ultimate meets the frost as he brings down 3 with the help of his team. Now onto Somnus, and maybe no calls to be accepted by this Necrophos. He will drop as well, the lone survivor to tell the tale of sadness. The plow.
We're going to watch that one more time. You see in the front line, Sven just goes in, and on the back line, great rotation coming in, and they just cut off everybody. Crystal made an ultimate, and like you said, it was a zoning one, and there was nowhere to go for LGD. They don't get a single player, and now tier 3 is being sieged on.
This is what we all knew VP was capable of. This was the reason why we saw swagger and confidence from Virtus.Pro at past events. Some have knocked them for being overly confident, even cocky at times. As mentioned at the summit, going for the, pick a different hero every game, never play a hero twice.
Hey, they want that
strategy,
tournament.
and they ended up winning the tournament, and perhaps it made them a bit stronger. Now they come into TI and on the big stage, on the verge of finally taking a game off of one of these top Chinese dogs as LGD find themselves on the ropes.
Yeah, so far I think LGD has not really shown up and played Dota just yet. They had resemblance of showing up and play Dota. They made some good moves, but ultimately, I think they didn't execute the Dota that they want to play. The draft to me is not the draft that they intended to show right now.
I mean, biggest thing, is it just that they didn't get enough mileage out of the Lich for you?
Not just as Lich, but a laning stage as a whole, right? Like, Lich is a big part of it, obviously, but I think Beastmaster is supposed to do more in this stage of the game. Maybe supposed to be getting a Reaper Scythe kill left and right. How many Reaper Scythe kill have we seen? 1, 2?
I think just the one.
I mean, they have 4
maybe.
kills, so we could, count it up really quickly.
It's not more than 4.
Yeah. So, and of course, I've not felt the presence of this Troll Warlord. I mean, he's hit a tower a couple of times, he's gotten the Roche, but he's just not a big threat. He's gone for the Blink Dagger, which...
He still doesn't have the BKB, and the thing is,
right.
You mentioned he's not a big threat, like, he has to get a BKB. They have so many ways to deal with them otherwise. The blind from the Night Stalker with Crippling Fear, tons of slow chain stun galore with the Sven, the Lina, not to mention just the Omni Knight constantly nuking you down with the Purification. Like, he's not tanky enough to get away without a BKB, even if it's not a game-winning item.
Without a BKB, I don't think you kill anyone. Not even the Crystal Maiden. Like, Crystal Maiden could just Frostbite and run away.
Here they go. Moving in, the boat comes through, Ramsey's BKB, and now the fight. They're fighting around the shrine here. Do they commit forward? They want the Necrophos glowing in the Laguna, the Chain Frost to counter. The Torrent's there as well, but it makes Daddy Sven in the house, forcing Yo on his heels. He runs back into that red sword of doom. And it seems it's destiny for VP to take this game. One of the first times we've seen a team GG out on the main stage before losing a second lane of Rax. LGD just got whopped.
I think Virtus.Pro did everything correct. They won that bottom lane. 9Posh got way too much in his lane. Of course, Alina got the ganks that she needed mid, so she won there as well.